Sorry.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest. Be Sustainable Change, a B&P Group company.
The fully electric Audi Q8 e-tron range. Airtel family plan starting rupees 599. Mapples, Map My India.
Bombshell on slain terrorist Nijjar. Son exposes nexus with Canadian intel. Frequent visitor and possible protectee. Was Nijjar a state agent for Canada? ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है, Mr. Trudeau? That is our top focus on 5 Live.
I'm sure Canada did not expect that terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar's own son would throw them under the bus and expose them, but I'm just getting started. I'm going to break down that story for you here on 5 Live. Viewer, thank you very much once again for being with me. I'm Shiv. These are the headlines. India allies Aam Aadmi Party and Congress lock horns after Punjab Congress MLA Sukhpal Khera is arrested in an old drugs case. Khera cries foul, claims Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann could get him killed. Coincidentally, the arrest comes just a few hours after Khera had taken to Twitter to attack Raghav Chadda's expensive wedding.
ये तो भगवंत मान जैसे खून का प्यासा है and let me tell you, you're the responsible media here. I will not be surprised if he gets me physically eliminated also.
A day after that horrific video of a rape survivor child surfaces in Madhya Pradesh's Ujjain, 3 accused, including an auto rickshaw driver, have been arrested. The police find bloodstains in the auto. The ashram priest who rescued the child joins me live at 5:30 right here on 5 Live. Protests in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu continue over the Kaveri water dispute. Section 144 imposed in Bengaluru ahead of Karnataka Bandh called once again on Friday. The father of India's green revolution is no more. M.S. Swaminathan dies aged 98. He was an eminent agricultural scientist who led the way for India to achieve food security. It's raining gold for India at the Asian Games in China. Wins gold in men's 10-meter air pistol featuring Sarabjot Singh, Shiva Narwal and Arjun Singh Cheema. 6th gold for India. Viewer, 9 days after the Canadian Prime Minister stood up in the country's parliament to allege an Indian link to the killing of his father, Hardeep Nijjar's 21-year-old son Balraj Nijjar has now dropped a big fat bomb that has the Canadian system in total panic mode. In such high panic mode that it is completely silent. In interviews to Canadian newspapers, Balraj Nijjar has stated that Canadian intelligence held weekly briefings with his father, Nijjar, before his death 3 months ago. As you can imagine, this has put the Canadian government in an extremely embarrassing and awkward position in front of the world. On the surface, most people are wondering what makes Nijjar so special that he gets a weekly briefing at the expense of Canadian taxpayers. It is Canadian taxpayers, after all, who pay for Canadian intelligence. While Hardeep Nijjar is seen as a terrorist by India, he is clearly not seen as one by Canada, which is why the Western media has been describing Nijjar as an activist, a Sikh leader, a community Samaritan. One paper even described him as a plumber. Which then begs the question, what was special about Nijjar that Canadian public taxpayer money was being spent to brief him every single week, according to his son? Now remember, these alleged briefings were taking place at a time when Nijjar had an Interpol red corner notice out against him, with India actively seeking his extradition. India, which is Canada's diplomatic partner. So the Canadian taxpayer, in effect, is now faced with the possibility that Canadian intelligence was seeking out fugitives in order to keep them updated regarding their wanted status in other countries. Why should Canadian taxpayers be paying for such a thing, you might wonder? Let us, for the sake of argument, assume that Canadian intelligence was in some vague way trying to protect one of its citizens, in this case Nijjar, having assessed that there was a threat to his life from unknown quarters. This then begs the question, viewer, did Canadian intelligence basically fail then in their primary objective to protect Nijjar and save his life? You're also probably wondering, why so many meetings? Why a weekly meeting? Why a meeting every single week? What was so important about Hardeep Singh Nijjar? Could it be that Nijjar was an informant for Canadian intelligence? Is it possible that he was so deep in with infamous Khalistani terrorist gangsters that he had begun to be a liability for handlers, perhaps sitting in Pakistan? Is it possible that he was bumped off either by gangsters because he was getting too big for his boots, or maybe he was bumped off by the ISI through their Canadian proxies? As Canada's attempt to blame India for the killing of Hardeep Nijjar backfires spectacularly across the diplomatic spectrum for the last 9 days, with no evidence presenting itself for 10 whole days after Trudeau made that startling allegation, these scenarios I've just described have rapidly gained credibility and credence. And remember, these are not things that we are saying. It's the Canadian media that's asking these questions. The Indian government has said repeatedly that they've received nothing by way of specific evidence or information to support Trudeau's dramatic claim. Dr. Jaishankar said it just a few days ago. The Indian government has additionally said it is willing to look at any specific information that Canada may provide, but it simply hasn't provided it. But what is India to do if such evidence is not supplied even 10 days after such an allegation is made publicly in front of the world. Could it be that raising the heat and continuing with this line that India is involved could backfire even more badly than it has for Canada? As the layers get peeled off day by day, has Canadian intelligence realized that any further traction on this story could blow the lid off their links with the Khalistani gangster nexus, its own links with drug cartels and the organized criminal supply chains that the Canadian government has protected ostensibly under the veil of civil liberties? Has Prime Minister Trudeau thus far has been kept in the dark, perhaps by his own intelligence agencies, realized now that he has released the dogs of war that have done nothing but come back to bite him for the last 10 days? Is this a historic moment where a country known best for being America's northern neighbor has its hands dirty at the cost of other sovereign countries it has partnerships with? What Hardeep Singh Nijjar's son has done is shine a light at an aspect of this story that most were only speculating about. That there is collusion and involvement of the Canadian government with this terrorist gangster nexus, and it has caught Canada completely off guard as a result. The country has now gone from being the one pointing fingers to the one who has to explain itself not just to India, but to the world as well. The revelations that have come out courtesy Hardeep Singh Nijjar's son are no small thing. They basically suggest, like I just told you, that the Canadian taxpayer has been paying for weekly briefings for a man proscribed by India as a terrorist. 21-year-old Balraj Nijjar is the successor and son of terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. His claims have lit a fire that Canada isn't going to be able to put out in a hurry. Take a look.
A new twist to the diplomatic war between India and Canada over the killing of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Hardeep Nijjar's son, Balraj, has made a sensational claim. Balraj Nijjar has said his father was regularly in contact with the Canadian intelligence agencies. Balraj, in an interview given to the Canadian media, revealed that Hardeep Singh Nijjar met senior officials of the Canadian intelligence establishment 2-3 days before he was killed on the 18th of June outside the Gurdwara in Surrey. Balraj also said that intelligence authorities had advised Nijjar to stay home. Balraj says he accompanied his father to these meetings. The new revelations come days after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, in a statement in Parliament, pointed fingers at India over the murder.
Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
India has categorically rejected the Canadian allegation of involvement in Nijjar's murder as absurd and politically motivated, saying Canada had long provided shelter to Khalistani terrorists and extremists.
कुछ देश हमारी दी गई इंफॉर्मेशन पर बहुत तेजी से रिएक्ट करते रहे हैं, जबकि कनाडा के बारे में मैं अफसोस से कहता हूं कि हम लोगों ने बहुत इंफॉर्मेशन उनके साथ रेगुलरली शेयर की है, हमारे लेवल पर भी और भारत सरकार के लेवल पर भी. जहां तक पन्नू का सवाल है या निज्जर का सवाल है, इसके बारे में हम लोगों ने उनको कंक्रीट एविडेंस दिया है और वो स्वयं भी जानते हैं कि इन लोगों की किस तरह की गतिविधियां हैं. लेकिन अफसोस यही है कि वहां से जिस तरह की रिस्पांस मिलनी चाहिए कनाडा से, वो रिस्पांस नहीं मिली है.
Hardeep Singh Nijjar was originally from a village in Punjab's Jalandhar district. The 45-year-old went to Canada, allegedly on forged documents, according to investigators. India has been demanding action against Khalistani terrorists, including Nijjar, who are operating from Canadian soil for several years now. it's extremely curious why Canada's intelligence agencies would meet a plumber so frequently unless there is more to it than meets the eye. Because do keep in mind, Indian intelligence agencies and the Ministry of External Affairs had regularly, not just once, but more than once, shared a dossier on Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who was a designated Khalistani terrorist in India. Khalistani terror, open threats to Canadian Hindus, targeted killings, gang wars, and now a diplomatic war with a friendly nation have put the Canadian government in a tough spot. Bureau Report, India Today.
So let me just summarize the questions that I have in my mind, viewer, and I'm sure if you've been watching my show so far, these are questions in your mind as well, because we are completely aligned in the questions we ask on this show. Number one, why does an activist or a person being described by Canada as an activist need weekly intelligence briefings? Can someone please tell me? Question number two, what were Canadian agents briefing activist Nijjar about? Can someone please tell us that? Number three, was Canadian intelligence trying to hide a possible nexus with the Khalistan terror gangs? There's a big nexus over there, which is clear for everyone to see by now. Number four, was Hardeep Nijjar an informer or an informant to the Canadian intelligence? And could he possibly have been, done away with or bumped off by these Khalistani gangs or these organized crime gangs that operate in Canada freely? Number five, was Nijjar in some way disobeying orders? Could he have been bumped off by Pakistani proxies operating in Canada? Did he get in too deep? Was there a drug cartel angle in this? And did Pakistan not like what he was doing? And did they get him bumped off? There are so many tantalizing questions to be asked, which is the reason why Justin Trudeau's attempt to link all of this with India is being seen with a great deal of incredulity and also with increasing disdain, because it's been 9 days since the allegation and no credible, incredible, non-credible evidence has been presented in any which way. Joining me live to try and make some sense of this very, very mysterious, tantalizing new angle to the story, Gaurav Sawant, our managing editor, who's been looking at everything very closely. But I'd like to start first by asking Yashovardhan Azad, one of India's most well-known and well-regarded commentators on matters intelligence. He's a former IPS and former special director with the Intelligence Bureau. Mr. Azad, welcome. Gaurav, thanks for being with us. Mr. Azad, what do you make of this, sir? For the lay person, that Canadian intelligence, and this is not something we are saying, the son of Hardeep Nijjar says that Canadian intelligence was meeting his father every week to brief him and to hold meetings. What do you think that was about, sir?
Shiv, you have raised a lot of pertinent questions also before. Let me add a few, because if you have any formal, murder investigation, there are so many trails you like to pick up and then you thread in between. In this particular case, what is really intriguing is that after even 3.5 months, there have been no suspects, there have been no statements, there have been, and by the way, if you look at the a very deep study by Washington Post, even the people who are living nearby have not been questioned. So apparently, how is this investigation being done? What does not do. The second part is that this is absolutely mind-boggling when the son says that he was having a regular meeting with the CSIS. Now, obviously, as an intelligence man or as a cop, I would say he could have been one of the assets. Because mind you, Shiv, this gentleman, Mr. Nijjar, had gone over to Pakistan to meet the KTF chief. And on your platforms, you said it so many times that he went to Tara. This was an information. We also gave this information to the Canadians, and the Canadians were already aware of this information because this travel was facilitated, obviously, by the ISI. The other thing which is very, very visible and known to everyone is the collaboration between the ISI offices in Canada and the various Khalistani groups. These Khalistani groups who are running extortion rackets, as you already pointed out, also being funded in some of these gurdwaras. So a lot of these actions are resulting in inter-gang rivalry. And mind you, there was a murder before Ripu Daman Malik's. And then even later there is another murder. But these two murders have not raised any hackles in Canada. Only the Nijjar murder has raised. So obviously he was somebody important. Either an ISI mole, he was certainly an asset for the Canadian intelligence services because he was giving the information, and that's usual. I mean, I don't think something is even wrong with that because they would like to get information about the Khalistani activities.
Correct.
But the point, after getting so much of information about Khalistani, nothing was done. And lastly, the most important point, if it was conveyed to Nijjar that there is a serious threat on you, then why wasn't he given security? This is
very mind-boggling. And, hearing an assessment like that, Gaurav, from a former Special Director of Intelligence Bureau, makes this very plain, makes this very black and white to us, in an area that is otherwise grey. Amazing questions being asked by Mr. Azad, Gaurav. Was he an ISI mole? Very likely that he was some kind of an informant, which is not on the face of it surprising. It's very possible that he was, which leads to the question, who bumped him off? And if there was a threat to his life, why wasn't he protected by the Canadian intelligence? Whatever be the case, Gaurav, it looks like there is a big cover-up at play.
There is a big cover-up, perhaps an attempt to blame India for a crime where India is very categorically saying we've had absolutely no role to play. You heard the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, say that's not India's policy. And India wanted this man arrested. Had Canada actually taken action on all the dossiers that India had sent after designating Hardeep Singh Nijjar as a terrorist under UAPA, Prevention of Unlawful Activities Act, the Canadian agencies could have arrested him and put him in jail. Perhaps he would have been alive. They could have extradited him into India. Perhaps he would have been alive. But they did nothing. They kept meeting him, according to The Sun, every week. Every week there was a meeting, which means he must have been someone really important as far as the Canadian intelligence agencies were concerned, that they'd met him on the 17th. That's one day before the murder. He was murdered on the 18th. There was another meeting, according to The Sun, scheduled for the 20th. So if they were meeting him so frequently on the 17th and then again on the 20th, which means he had some kind of information that the intelligence agencies really wanted. And was that the reason he was bumped off, that someone didn't want that intelligence to reach the Canadian intelligence agencies? And was he actually playing a double game, working with the ISI, as Mr. Yashovardhan Azad very rightly pointed out, and as you've reported, Shiv, he travelled to Pakistan, he'd gone to Nankana Sahib, he'd met other terrorists there, including Tara, and those pictures are out in public domain. All of that seemed to indicate that there was a much bigger racket. Now, was this racket just about human trafficking? Was this racket just about drugs? Or was this terror, extortion and drugs rolled in together? Which, incidentally, after the killing of Ripu Daman, and also about that Sukhdul Singh, that other two killings which, as Mr. Azad very rightly pointed out, that Sukhdul Singh, Sukha's killing, hasn't raised anybody's hackles. But is that the gang war that is happening to perhaps silence those who may have been paying off people to continue that gang operation and extortion operations in Canada? So there are many layers and unfortunately very shoddy investigations in the past 3 months by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Absolutely. What we know about the investigation so far is the very opposite of inspiring confidence. Mr. Azad, this is a complicated issue, a grey issue, many different scenarios and layers like Gaurav put it. But would you say that on the one hand, you've got this, a fairly obvious presence of a gangster terrorist nexus, that has collusions and linkages with the Canadian establishment and intelligence agencies. And on the other hand, on the back of what Nijjar's son says, there is very, very evidently some kind of cover-up going on, sir.
Apart from the cover-up, there are two things which are worrying me as an intelligence officer and also as a countryman. One is that there is a huge kind of a build-up being given and a hype being created that are happening in Punjab, and that is why these fellows are going on forged passports and trying to seek amnesty and going as a refugee, which is telling the world, in perhaps in Punjab, Sikhs are being persecuted and all. Whereas in actual practice, what is happening is Punjab is least affected by the impact of Khalistani activities. It is impacted in criminal terms by the kind of the gang wars and the extortions which we are doing, like the killing of Sidhu Moosewala. And the second thing is that this racket is really creating a danger to the democratic world, because this kind of secessionism in the name of freedom, if it is allowed in other countries, then it's going to be a serious matter. And the world has to look into it, because it is in complete violation of international norms and laws. In Canada, Shiv, when there was a trucker strike, there was a very strict action taken by Trudeau. They were all put behind bars. But when the threat is coming to the diplomats, when the consulate is being carried out, when posters are being replaced, and the worst thing, the Indian flag is being stomped on the streets, if you do nothing, then this is an actual danger to a free world. And these two things must be looked into. So I think it is some kind of a cover-up, because as I've already said, these are my questions, whether it's an asset, whether it's an ISA guy. In fact, there were 2 ISI guys who were also held for questioning. I don't know what happened. There is no news about this investigation, except those in apostrophe, so-called credible allegations and the indicators. So we are still not aware as to what exactly they have by way of credible evidence.
And those credible allegations or evidence or what have you, has gone completely silent for the last 6 days. Trudeau hasn't said a word about all of this for the last 6 days. So it's leading a lot of people to wonder whether there is a rethink, whether the Canadian establishment has sensed that this entire campaign against India has backfired diplomatically, and they're trying to cut their losses and cover their tracks. Who knows how it's going to unfold at this point of time. Canada most certainly looking extremely suspicious in the wake of what the terrorist's son, the dead terrorist's son himself is saying. Yashovardhan Azad, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you very much for giving us your wisdom. Helps us understand the story a whole lot better. Gaurav, also thanks for those inputs on that. Now remember, Gaurav was talking about Hardeep Singh Nijjar's visit to Pakistan in 2013-2014, where the most famous picture of Hardeep Singh Nijjar has emerged, and it's gone viral everywhere. I want to show you that picture, viewer, because this is a series of pictures that are some of the few of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. These are pictures of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. That's him in that orange t-shirt there in Nankana Sahib, one of the holiest sites of the Sikh religion. It's the city where Guru Nanak Ji was born. Now, we've done an open source intelligence investigation into some of these pictures just to analyze whether indeed Hardeep Singh Nijjar visited Pakistan in 2013 as claimed, or are certain vested interests trying to divert and say there is no Pakistan angle whatsoever, and these pictures are actually doctored. Now, using internet tools and myth-busting tools, including satellite photography, my colleague Ankit Kumar puts together this very, very compelling report that you're going to watch that tells you exactly where Hardeep Singh Nijjar was standing when this picture was taken, and you've guessed it, it is indeed in Pakistan. Watch this report. His supporters in Canada have elevated him as Shaheed, or a martyr, projected him as a devout, selfless sevadar, or a volunteer at the Surrey Gurudwara, where he was murdered on June the 18th. But a picture of Hardeep Singh Nijjar carrying an AK-47 with an underfolder and a magazine has come haunting the slain Khalistani leader. India Today's open source intelligence unit has sifted through the facts from what could be a make-believe portrayal of Nijjar in the Western press. We found that the man designated as a terrorist pictured himself with an authentic Kalashnikov assault rifle in Pakistan. That's right, the firearm you see in this picture is no fiction, no photoshopping, and nor is it the work of generative artificial intelligence. Nijjar's Pakistan visit in 2013-2014 is very much in the public domain. Reports also suggest during that trip, ostensibly for a pilgrimage to the historical Nankana Sahib shrine, he also met individuals linked to the ISI. Nijjar in a group photograph, all posing on a rooftop. Trees, an open area, a gate, and dome-shaped structures in the backdrop. When referred to Google Earth imagery from 2013 with specific coordinates, exact features show up. Imagery of the same location 3 years later show no trees. That establishes that Nijjar visited this location in Pakistan almost 10 years ago, barely a 4-hour drive from where Osama bin Laden was eliminated by US Navy SEALs a few years prior. By comparing the first geolocated picture with the second image featuring Hardeep Nijjar holding the assault rifle, it now becomes evident that he's wearing the same t-shirt and turban in both photographs. And that lends a high degree of credibility to assertions that Nijjar's AK-47 picture was taken during this same visit to Pakistan. This in turn punctures theories spun by Nijjar supporters of his being a selfless volunteer and a devotee going on a pilgrimage. His visit to Pakistan more than just a religious tour when he pictures himself brandishing an assault rifle. With Ankit Kumar, Bureau Report, India Today. So these have become the most shared pictures of terrorist Hardeep Nijjar during a visit to Pakistan in 2013, 2014. Like I said, there have been vested interests who have tried to say that these are manufactured. But this orange t-shirt that we've analyzed with that other most viral image of Hardeep Nijjar is the very same t-shirt taken during the very same trip, perhaps on the same day as well. The weapon that Hardeep Nijjar is carrying is an authentic Kalashnikov rifle. We've looked at all these images very closely. We've also geotagged the location. What India Today's Ankit Kumar has done is not only analyze all these pictures, but we'll show you where this picture was actually taken. This is a marvelous aspect of open source intelligence. That's where it is. Now, we've got 3 features, trees and buildings behind Nijjar in this picture that we've geotagged and analyzed using satellite pictures, and that is the location where Nijjar is standing in Nankana Sahib. That is the dwar behind him that you can see in those pictures. Some of those trees have disappeared, but the satellite imagery does not lie. This is precisely in one of the Sikh religion's most holy places, Nankana Sahib, the birthplace of Guru Nanak, that this terrorist visited in 2013 to possibly and ostensibly meet with ISI agents. While on the topic of the ISI, and that the fact that we've busted these pictures and made it absolutely clear that this was in Pakistan around the same time and those pictures are interconnected, the Pakistan link is completely settled then. There's no argument, there's no debate. But the Pakistan angle doesn't end there, because even now with what's happening in Canada, with the Khalistanis being protected there, there is an ISI toolkit that appears to be doing the rounds. Watch this report.
Amidst the big Khalistani terror surge in Canada comes a massive revelation. Pakistan spy agency ISI is providing all possible help to Khalistanis running rogue in Canada. Readying toolkit to help the Khalistani extremist running an anti-India campaign. Sources say the Pak spy agency has roped in retired Pak army officials, journalists and influencers to push anti-India hashtags on social media. Hundreds of such handles are under scanner for inflammatory and provocative content. Former NIA DG YC Modi has made a similar claim, saying that Pakistan's ISI is engaged in terror funding.
पाकिस्तान ने कश्मीर में भी प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट किए हैं, करते रहे हैं, अभी भी करते हैं। पहले पंजाब में भी प्रॉब्लम उन्होंने क्रिएट करने की कोशिश की थी और अब भी वो एक उनकी तरफ से एक लगातार ये प्रयास रहता है, जिसके लिए वो विदेशों में जहां भी उनकी एम्बेसीज हैं, जहां भी उनको इस काम के लिए लोग मिल सकते हैं, उस पर वो लगे रहते हैं।
The former NIA head also pointed to Canada's kid gloves for Khalistanis, pointing out its stonewalling of India's extradition bids.
कुछ देश हमारी दी गई इंफॉर्मेशन पर बहुत तेजी से रिएक्ट करते रहे हैं, जबकि कनाडा के बारे में मैं अफसोस से कहता हूं कि हम लोगों ने बहुत इंफॉर्मेशन उनके साथ रेगुलरली शेयर की है, हमारे लेवल पर भी और भारत सरकार के लेवल पर भी। पर अफसोस की बात यह है कि वहां से जो रिस्पांस मिलना चाहिए वो रिस्पांस नहीं मिला है।
Eminent US businessman of India origin Sant Chatwal pointed to absence of support for Khalistanis among overseas Sikhs.
There's hardly anybody who's supporting Khalistan. This has become a political tension between both the countries, and there's some sort of big miscommunication going on, and which we all Sikhs, everybody, I'll say 99, more than 99%, we love India. India is our country, not the Khalistan. Nobody's interested in Khalistan.
India, meanwhile, is piling on the heat on Khalistani elements with a series of multi-state raids, detaining dozens of suspects with Khalistani links. The raids are aimed at dismantling the terror gangster drug smuggler nexus, the weapon suppliers and financiers. Bureau Report, India Today.
Gaurav, getting a word in from you on this, on the Pakistan angle, the ISI toolkit that could be at play. You know, looking at all those scenarios we discussed, Gaurav, if it was indeed the gangster nexus that bumped off, if it was the Pakistan ISI that had him bumped off, that's one thing. If the gangster nexus had bumped off, then it's not surprising to see how Pakistan wants to get involved to try and manage the perceptions. And they may have had a hand in trying to get India blamed for it.
That would be a very desperate attempt. But Shiv, these are, you know, what happened before, what happened after, in the form of killing of Sukhdev Singh, and the fact that there is an apprehension not just in Canada, but also in the United States of America. Because a lot of these gangsters, they, you know, Khalistan is just the brand. Khalistan is just the name. The industry that they run is extortion. The industry that they run is human trafficking. The industry that they run is actually drugs. Khalistan is just the cover so that nobody touches them. Authorities in America will not touch them. Authorities in Canada will not touch them at all. And in some countries in Europe, action is very, restricted. So that is why they claim that they're all freedom fighters for Khalistan. They're actually extortionists and terrorists and, people who are indulging in human trafficking. And we've seen that. We've seen that in the form of Sidhu Moosewala being killed in India. We've seen that in the form of Sukhdev Singh being killed in Canada. Shiv, the apprehension is that this will set off a chain reaction and will have a domino effect. So if one gang kills members of the other gang will hit back, and it will, even for these gangsters and mafia, it will be down to the mattresses. And America and Canada will unfortunately either have to take action against these elements or pay a price for it.
It's, it's being done very effectively, and that's the reason why the entire world now perceives Canada as a country that has condoned terrorist and gangster violence. A nexus that most people didn't even know about has become an everyday reality in the mainstream media. That is the truth of it. Nobody can manufacture this stuff. These claims being made by Nijjar's own son, not by some third party. It's a story that has become hugely bigger with each passing day. We're on day 9, tomorrow is going to be day 10, and who knows what else it will bring. Gaurav, thanks very much as always. We're going to continue to track that story very closely here on India Today and on 5 Live. But after this very short break, I'm bringing you, the viewer, back home to India, to Madhya Pradesh, where a 12-year-old child has shattered 1 billion hearts and minds with that video of her after being sexually assaulted and raped and bleeding. She was denied help for 8 kilometers as she begged, but one man, a priest in an ashram, decided to help her. And that man joins me live on the other side.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
India's longest serving editor, a pioneer in India's media landscape, pathbreaker and model for the entire profession, honored with IMA's Managing India Lifetime Achievement for contribution to media.
I believe journalism is a noble profession, for it carries a social responsibility.
Arun Puri has certainly made a huge impact on the lives of a whole lot of people in this country.
I've grown up reading India Today, so I can tell you that Arun's commitment to storytelling, his media excellence, has truly been inspiring for me.
His life's work is India's gold standard of journalism.
प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट है वहाँ कनाडा में, वो खालिस्तानी सिंपथाइजर पर डिपेंडेंट है। उनकी एक सपोर्टिंग पार्टी जो है वो प्रो खालिस्तानी है, लेकिन हमारी ये फिर भी प्रयास लगातार रहता है और रहा है कि वो हमारी सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न्स को समझें और उसके बेसिस पर रिएक्ट करें। जहां तक पन्नू का सवाल है या निज्जर का सवाल है, इसके बारे में हम लोगों ने उनको कंक्रीट एविडेंस दिया है और वो स्वयं भी जानते हैं कि इन लोगों की किस तरह की गतिविधियां हैं, लेकिन अफसोस यही है कि वहां से जिस तरह की रिस्पांस मिलनी चाहिए कनाडा से, वो रिस्पांस नहीं मिली है। जहां तक निज्जर की गतिविधियों का सवाल है, हम लोगों ने ये पाया था कि निज्जर यहाँ देश पंजाब में बहुत तरह की जो है इलीगल एक्टिविटीज करवाने की, शांति व्यवस्था को भंग करने के प्रयास करता रहा है, लेकिन उसमें वो सफल नहीं हो पाया है। आज के दिन हम सब लोग जानते हैं कि क्राइम करने के लिए बाउंड्रीज जो हैं वो इमेटीरियल हो गई हैं। ये पाकिस्तान के बारे में तो हम सब सदा से जानते हैं, पाकिस्तान ने कश्मीर में भी प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट किए हैं, करते रहे हैं, अभी भी करते हैं। पहले पंजाब में भी प्रॉब्लम उन्होंने क्रिएट करने की कोशिश की थी, उस पर काबू पा लिया गया था, और अब भी वो एक उनकी तरफ से एक लगातार ये प्रयास रहता है, जिसके लिए वो विदेशों में जहां जहां भी उनकी एम्बेसीज हैं, जहां जहां भी उनको इस काम के लिए लोग मिल सकते हैं, उस पर वो लगे रहते हैं। सवाल ये है कि हमारे यहाँ हमारी सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज, मैं मानता हूं कि बहुत अलर्ट है।
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest. Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
Amid the escalating India-Canada standoff, the National Investigation Agency has intensified its crackdown on Khalistani terrorists. The NIA on Wednesday raided 50 locations in Punjab, Rajasthan, Haryana, Uttarakhand, Delhi and Uttar Pradesh. During the raids, the NIA detained wanted Canada-based terrorist Arsh Dala's aide Jora from Firozpur in Punjab. Sources in the NIA have revealed how Khalistani gangsters based abroad are funding overground workers in India through Hawala channels to procure drugs and weapons. Information retrieved, Khalistani gangsters arrested under the UAPA so far has shown the nexus is involved in terrorist funding and arms supply from foreign soil.
Khalistani terror modules now under scanner of the NIA, and what we know is that this pertains to 6 states. The Khalistani extremist groups are already under pressure with properties being seized, other properties of 19 terror groups have now been under process of identification, and there would be a lot of action which would be done on ground. But clearly at this point of time, a lot of action happening in Punjab.
The NIA's charge sheet accessed by India Today reveals how Khalistani terrorist Arsh Dala runs an extortion gang and supplies arms and drugs from Pakistan through drones. The charge sheet also claims Khalistanis are targeting Punjabi music and film industries and are demanding extortion money from producers and directors. The NIA court documents expose the alleged nexus between Khalistanis and Dawood Ibrahim. In the investigation, it has come to light that terror outfit Babbar Khalsa International has built up ties with Dawood and through him with banned terrorist organizations like the Lashkar-e-Taiba and Indian Mujahideen. With Kamaljeet Sandhu in Chandigarh and Shreya Chatterjee in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Air quality today. In Delhi, 153. In Mumbai, 91. In Kolkata, 61. In Bangalore, 31. In Chennai, 66. In Hyderabad, 84.
The horrific incident where a 12-year-old child in Madhya Pradesh's Ujjain was raped in an auto rickshaw, caught on a CCTV camera, literally going from house to house, door to door, begging for help, only to be shooed away and turned away, partly covered by a small piece of cloth, dripping blood, walking the streets of Ujjain, has shattered millions of hearts, not just in India, around the world. The police have now swung into action. 3 accused, including an auto driver, have been arrested for this unforgivable crime. Bloodstains from the auto have also been found. Take a look.
A 12-year-old child, semi-naked, partly covered with a small piece of cloth, stained with blood, walking the streets of Ujjain on Monday, knocking on doors, begging for help. Her pleas go unheeded as many shoo her away. The video clip has shaken Madhya Pradesh and the entire country. This little child was finally taken to a hospital by a priest where tests confirmed that she was raped.
उज्जैन जिले में महाकाल थाना अंतर्गत एक प्रकरण कायम हुआ है अज्ञात लोगों के विरुद्ध, जिसमें दुष्कर्म की बात सामने आई है, जिसकी पुष्टि मेडिकल के द्वारा की गई है। इसमें बच्ची की हालत नाजुक होने से उसको इंदौर रेफ़र किया गया था और जो भी बेस्ट ट्रीटमेंट है उसको वहाँ पे अवेलेबल कराया गया था। इसमें एक बड़ी टीम SIT गठित की गई है और लगातार सभी जगह पे इसको हम लोग ट्रैक कर रहे हैं।
The rape survivor's condition is serious. She was shifted to Indore on Tuesday for further medical treatment. 3 accused have been arrested for the ghastly crime. One of the accused is an auto driver. The police found blood stains from the auto and the vehicle has been sent for forensic examination.
इसमें खासकर जो चीज़ें निकल के आई कि बच्ची बस स्टैंड और रेलवे स्टेशन के आसपास घूमती पाई गई और एक ऑटो रिक्शा वाला था जिसको पहले फुटेज में देखा गया, फिर उसको आइडेंटिफाई किया गया। उस आइडेंटिफिकेशन के बाद जब पूछताछ हुई और जब खासकर जो साक्ष्य हैं उनका अवलोकन हुआ तो जो पीछे की सीट है उसमें कुछ ब्लड स्टेन्स पाए गए।
A union minister has vowed to take the strictest action against those who put the minor through this unthinkable ordeal.
12 साल की बच्ची के साथ रेप की घटना हुई, सर क्या कुछ कहेंगे?
और कानूनी कार्रवाई हो रही है।
State Congress Chief Kamal Nath has demanded that the victim be given financial assistance of 1 crore rupees. Women's safety is an issue in Madhya Pradesh, which goes to the elections later this year. The state recorded 6,462 rapes in 2021, the highest in the country, according to the National Crime Records Bureau. With Hemendra Sharma in Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh, Bureau Report, India Today. That little child walked for, according to some reports, 8 kilometers, door to door, bleeding, half clothed, half naked after that rape, begging for help, begging for some adult to take care of her, look after her, get her to a hospital and save her life. Not only did nobody help her, people were even shooing her away. That's the horror that you can see on camera. But one man, viewer, one individual was not among them. He decided not to turn this little child away. He accepted her, he recognized the emergency, and he took this little child to the police and to a hospital. And that man joins me live now. His name is Rahul Sharma. Acharya Rahul, हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए धन्यवाद। हमने ये रिपोर्ट्स देखे हैं, बहुत दुखद घटना है ये, लेकिन जो सामने वीडियो में दिखता है राहुल जी, वो ये है कि ये बच्ची लगातार एक दरवाजे से लेकर दूसरे दरवाजे तक भीख मांग रही है अपनी सुरक्षा के लिए, अपनी जान के लिए, लेकिन आपने उसकी मदद की। पहले हमारे दर्शकों को बताइए राहुल जी कि क्या हुआ था, कैसे हुआ था ये?
सोमवार के दिन प्रातःकालीन 9:26 पर मुझे अपनी किसी एक इमरजेंसी मीटिंग में शामिल होने के लिए आश्रम से बाहर जाना था। जैसे ही मैं अपना वाहन लेकर के गेट पर पहुंचा, मैंने देखा कि मेरे आश्रम से पश्चिम की ओर से मेन गेट से 20 फीट की दूरी पर एक बालिका अर्धभाग नीचे की ओर से कोई वस्त्र नहीं पहना हुआ है। यह देखकर मैं बिल्कुल स्तब्ध रह गया। जिस प्रकार आप लोग वीडियो में देख रहे हैं, हम लोगों ने एक वस्त्र ऊपर डाल रखा है। यह वस्त्र उस समय भी मैंने डाल रखा था। तुरंत ही उसी समय यह वस्त्र निकाल करके मैंने उस बालिका को उड़ाया, उस बालिका के हाथ में दिया। उस बालिका ने अपने हाथ से अपना वस्त्र पहना और मैंने उस बालिका से कई बार यह जानने की चेष्टा करी कि बेटी तुम कहाँ से हो, तुम्हें कौन लेकर के आया, किन दुष्टों ने तुम्हारे साथ ये अत्याचार किया है। लेकिन बालिका ये सब बातें बताने में मेरे असमर्थ थी। बालिका मुझे कुछ नहीं बता पाई। मैंने कई बार यह जानकारी, बालिका कुछ बोलना चाह रही थी लेकिन मैं नहीं समझ पा रहा था उसकी लैंग्वेज में, या जो मैं कह रहा था वह समझ नहीं पा रही थी। इसलिए मैंने उसके हाथ में 2 बार पेन और डायरी दिया। यदि तुम अपने माता पिता का कोई नाम नंबर जानती हो तो इसके ऊपर आप माता पिता का मोबाइल नंबर दर्ज कीजिए, जिससे मैं आपको अपने माता पिता से संपर्क करवा दूं। लेकिन बालिका ऐसा भी कुछ करने में असमर्थ थी। मैंने उस बालिका से पूछा, बेटा भूख लग रही है, कुछ खाने की इच्छा है आपकी? उस बालिका ने संबोधन में हाँ का उपयोग किया। उसने, मैंने आश्रम के विद्यार्थी से कहा कि बालिका के स्वल्पाहार की कोई व्यवस्था की जाए। तुरंत ही जो आश्रम में बना था वह स्वल्पाहार उस बालिका को नैवेद्य के लिए, उसको खाने के लिए हम लोगों ने दिया। और कई बार इस बात को जानने की चेष्टा करी कि इस बालिका के साथ में किन दुष्टों ने ऐसा युद्ध कर्म किया है, लेकिन बालिका इन सब बातों को बताने में असमर्थ थी। मैंने अपने मोबाइल का कीपैड भी उस बालिका के सामने रखा। यदि अपना पिता का कोई मोबाइल नंबर जानती हो तो इस मोबाइल से अपने माता पिता से संपर्क बनाओ। लेकिन बालिका ऐसा सब कुछ करने में भी असमर्थ थी। हम लोगों ने ज्यादा समय न लेते हुए पुलिस प्रशासन को तुरंत 100 पर कॉल किया, लेकिन 2 बार किसी कारणवश हमारा कॉल वहां से डिस्कनेक्ट किया गया। और फिर हमने महाकाल थाने में इस रिपोर्ट को दर्ज करवाई। महाकाल थाने के बाद पुनः एक बार 100 पर कॉल किया, जो कि 1 किलोमीटर दूर चौराहे पर खड़ी गाड़ी 10 मिनट में वहां पहुंची और तुरंत ही उन्होंने अपना पूरा ध्यान देते हुए उस बालिका की मदद करी। उसे यहाँ से अपने वाहन में ले जा करके चरक हॉस्पिटल उज्जैन में उस बालिका का उपचार कराया। बालिका लगभग पूर्णतः बहुत ही ज्यादा दुखी थी, क्योंकि जब हमने उसे देखा आंखें उसकी स्वेलिंग से भरी हुई थी पाँव में पूरी ब्लीडिंग हो रही थी और निर्वस्त्र थी, यह बहुत बड़ा उसके लिए और हम सबके लिए दुख की बात है।
राहुल जी मैं एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं आपसे, वो ये है कि जिस वीडियो में कोई सामने नहीं आता इस बच्ची का मदद करने, आप आ गए थे, आपने क्यों आया? 8 किलोमीटर तक ये बच्ची पैदल चली आ रही है मदद मांगते हुए और किसी ने इसका मदद नहीं किया, लेकिन आपने किया। क्यों किया? क्योंकि लोग इसको विश्वास करने में काफी मुश्किल लग रहा है। आप एक्सप्लेन कीजिए कि आपने मदद क्यों किया।
बिल्कुल सर, देखिए, एक हम भारतीय संस्कृति में पल रहे हैं, भारतीय संस्कृति में बड़े हो रहे हैं, और आज यदि हम लोग ही नहीं करेंगे तो कौन करेगा? यह भगवान महाकाल की साक्षात कृपा थी कि उस बालिका का आश्रम के सामने से गुजरना हुआ और मेरा किसी कारण से गेट पर पहुंचना हुआ। जैसे ही उस बालिका को मैंने निर्वस्त्रहीन देखा, मेरा मन बिल्कुल स्तब्ध रह गया। मैं देख करके भी मैं बहुत दुख हुआ मुझे। मैं कुछ न ध्यान देते हुए तुरंत ही पहले मैंने अपना ऊपरी वस्त्र उस बालिका को दिया। किन लोगों ने उसके ऊपर ध्यान दिया, नहीं दिया, किन लोगों ने उसकी मदद करी, नहीं करी, इतना सब कुछ मैंने नहीं सोचा। मैंने ये भी नहीं सोचा कि इस मदद का फल क्या होगा। भाई हमारा कर्तव्य है, हम लोग मानव है, हमारा कर्तव्य है कि एक बालिका 12-14 वर्ष की बालिका जो है कि आज निर्वस्त्र घूम रही है, इससे बड़ा हम भारतीय लोगों के लिए और क्या दुख होगा। इस दुख को स्मरण करते हुए ही मैंने उसकी मदद की।
राहुल जी जितना भी प्रशंसा करें हम आपके वो कम लगेगा। अभी तो मैं कुछ और नहीं बोलूँगा, मैं बस ये बोलूँगा कि आपने जो उदाहरण सामने किया है वो सारा देश देख रहा है, और मुझे लगता है कि आपका जो एग्जाम्पल है, आपने जो एक्शन लिया है, एक सेल्फलेस एक्शन जो लिया है, जो लोग नहीं करते हैं, वो पूरा देश के सामने है। और मेरा आशा ये है कि लोग सीखेंगे कि जब किसी का मदद करना चाहिए तो एक सेकंड थॉट बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए। तो मैं सिर्फ ये बोलूँगा कि पूरा देश मेरे साथ आपको धन्यवाद करता है, और हमारे साथ इंडिया टुडे पर बात करने के लिए भी धन्यवाद। थैंक यू राहुल जी। That was Acharya Rahul Sharma, the ashram priest who was the only one who decided he was not going to be a bystander. He decided to get involved, and it is perhaps thanks to him that a 12-year-old child who was brutalized in an auto rickshaw is now out of danger. Thanks for watching this episode of 5 Live. I'll see you at the same time tomorrow. Up next, it is 6 p.m. But before that, I wanted to remind you that at 8 p.m. today, we've got a very important special investigation viewer. It's called Operation Beti Bazaar, and it's very much linked to what I've just shown you. Take a look at this.
Bartered for cash. Contracted for prostitution. Sold by their own parents. Sinister trade uncovered. India Today special investigation. Operation Beti Bazaar at 8 p.m.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest. Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
ऐसा है, ये प्योर बदलाखोरी है। पंजाब में भगवंत मान हमारी ऑपोजिशन को जर नहीं पा रहे। एक तरफ केजरीवाल और भगवंत मान इंडिया अलायंस के अंदर घुसने के लिए हमारी दिल्ली की लीडरशिप के ऊपर बहुत दबाव डालते हैं, और यहाँ पंजाब में कांग्रेस को मार्जिनलाइज करने के लिए, आवाज बंद करने के लिए ऐसी गंदी हरकत की है आज। जो ये बोलते थे ना कि बदलाव की राजनीति कर रही है, बदलाव नहीं है, ये बदला है। ये तो भगवंत मान जैसे खून का प्यासा है. एंड लेट मी टेल यू, यू आर द रिस्पॉन्सिबल मीडिया हियर. I will not be surprised if he gets me physically eliminated also. ये तो एक किस्म का, जैसे पुलिस वाले जो इस लेवल के हैं, ये पेड मर्सिनरीज की तरह काम कर रहे हैं. जैसे ना गुंडे बदमाश पेड होते हैं, ये भूल गए कि हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के रखवाले हैं, हम वर्दी डालते हैं. मेरे को इस तरह गिरफ्तार करके ये सिर्फ अपने उसने प्यास ठंडी की है भगवान में. आई डोंट बॉदर. लेट मी टेल यू ऑल ऑफ यू, आई विल फाइट एवरी लिटिल बिट ऑफ इट. और मैं बिल्कुल डरने वाला नहीं हूं.
ಬಾಬಾ ಸಾಹೇಬ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆ ಬರೆದಾರೆ, ಭಾರತಕ್ಕೆ ಉಪವಾಸ ಕುಂಡ್ರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಹೊಡೆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಹೊಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿಂದ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ, ನೇತಾಜಿ ಸುಭಾಷ್ ಚಂದ್ರ ಬೋಸರ ಭಯದಿಂದ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋದ್ರು. ನೇತಾಜಿ ಸುಭಾಷ್ ಚಂದ್ರ ಬೋಸರು 2ನೇ ಮಹಾಯುದ್ಧದ ನಂತರ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಭಾರತದ ಮೊದಲ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿ ಅವರು 4-5 ಭಾಗವನ್ನ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದು ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿ ಅದು ಘೋಷಣೆ ಆಯಿತು. ಅದರದೇ ಒಂದು ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ, ಅದರದೇ ಒಂದು ಧ್ವಜ, ಅದರದೇ ಒಂದು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಗೀತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿ ಮೋದಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನೆಹರು ಭಾರತದ ಮೊದಲ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನೇತಾಜಿ ಸುಭಾಷ್ ಚಂದ್ರ ಬೋಸ್ ದೇಶದ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿ.
आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ताओं को बड़ा पीड़ित कर रही है. उत्पीड़न बहुत हो रहा है. इसीलिए पंजाब की यूनिट किसी भी हालत में अलायंस नहीं चाहती. वो देख रहे हैं कि अपनी बचत के खातिर इंडिया अलायंस में आम आदमी पार्टी शामिल हो गई है. मेरा ख्याल है इंडिया अलायंस में न आए होते तब तक गिरफ्तार हो गए होते. और सुखपाल खैरा जी चूंकि पहले से आम आदमी पार्टी से आए हैं, इसलिए दुश्मनी निकाल रहे हैं.
The case is of 2015. Aam Aadmi Party government came to power in March 2022. Today we are in September 2023. What was taking so long for the Aam Aadmi Party and its police and government, which is very proactive to pursue cases of all kinds to settle political scores of people who write against Mr. Kejriwal, to go and take action on Mr. Khera for the last 18 months. So it seems that this entire development has taken place after Mr. Bajwa spoke about 32 MLAs of Aam Aadmi Party being in touch with him. After the Congress Party has said that they will contest all the seats in Punjab. After the Congress Party and Aam Aadmi Party have been fighting over the 7 seats in Delhi.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest. Be sustainable change, a BNP Group company.
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने जो कोविड के दौरान लोगों की नजरों से परे होकर, जब दुनिया दवाई के लिए तरस रही थी, कोविड में मर रहे थे लोग, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी अपना शीश महल बना रहे थे, करोड़ों रुपए उसमें उजाड़ रहे थे और उसके अंदर करोड़ों रुपए अपनी जेब में डाल रहे थे. अब जब घपले करोगे, पैसे इकट्ठे करोगे, तो सीबीआई जांच करेगी. अब अरविंद केजरीवाल जी रोएंगे. क्यों रोएंगे? क्योंकि उनका एक ही मानना कि मैं पैसे जितने मर्जी खाऊं, मैं शराब घोटाले में पैसे खाऊं, मैं बस घोटाले में पैसा खाऊं, मैं क्लासरूम घोटाले में पैसा खाऊं, मैं बिजली घोटाले में पैसा खाऊं, लेकिन आप मेरे से सवाल नहीं पूछेंगे.
पूरी दिल्ली इंतजार कर रही थी कि शीश महल में जो 56 करोड़ रुपए खर्चा है, या बाकी और जो वहाँ पे वियतनाम से पत्थर मंगवाए गए, वहाँ हजारों रुपए के कमोड लगाए गए, लाखों रुपए के पत्थर लगाए, पर्दे लगाए गए, उस सब के लिए दिल्ली की जनता इंतजार के इस पर जांच होनी चाहिए, ताकि पता लगे इस भ्रष्टाचार के पीछे कौन कौन लोग हैं. मुख्यमंत्री हैं खुद, उनके मंत्री हैं पीडब्ल्यूडी के, जहाँ उनके जो बाकी अधिकारी हैं वो भी सबके सब उसने.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest. Be sustainable change, a BNP Group company.
Co-powered by Blender's Pride Glassware, My Life, My Pride. Volkswagen.
Cracks developed within Team India. Congress questions Rajniti marriage splurge. Congress MLA gets arrested hours later. Congress versus AAP over Khera arrest.
अगर सुखपाल खेरा इतने दूध के धोए हुए थे तो अकाली दल ने उनके ऊपर मुकदमा क्यों दर्ज किया? कांग्रेस सरकार ने उनको गिरफ्तार क्यों किया? उनके साथी को सजा होगी क्योंकि उन्होंने कांग्रेस ज्वाइन कर ली, इसलिए राजनीतिक संरक्षण के कारण वो गिरफ्तार नहीं हो पाए।
अन्याय अगर कोई करता है तो बहुत दिन टिकता नहीं, और कोई अन्याय हमारे ऊपर करेगा तो अन्याय सहन करने वाले लोग भी हम नहीं।
Foes in Punjab, friends for 2024, our top focus at 6 p.m. Prime.
Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita Nandagopal. Lots of questions that are being thrown up over the developments that have happened in Punjab. First, of course, is about Congress MLA Khera's arrest. Is it tit for tat? Was it because of his post about Pariniti and Raghav Chadda's marriage? Second, what does this mean for the Congress and AAP and their alliance? Because here they are bickering it out and fighting it out. I'll get you all the details on that. I'll look at the headlines first. Explosive revelations by Khalistani terrorist Nijjar's son says Nijjar regularly met with Canadian intel agencies, but no answers as to why intel met with this Khalistani terrorist. After CBI orders probe into lavish CM house refurbish, Arvind Kejriwal challenges BJP to show proof of graft, proof of corruption. BJP calls splurge criminal. A day after this horrific video of a rape survivor surfaced from Madhya Pradesh's Ujjain, 3 accused, including an auto driver, have been arrested. Cops find bloodstains in auto. Protests in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu continue over the Kaveri water dispute. Section 144 prohibitory orders imposed in Bengaluru ahead of statewide Karnataka Bandh called on Friday. The father of India's Green Revolution is no more. M.S. Swaminathan dies aged 98, an eminent agricultural scientist who led the way for India to achieve food security. And it's raining gold for India in the Asian Games. Wins gold in men's 10-meter air rifle featuring Sarabjot Singh, Shiva Narwal and Arjun Singh Chima. That's a 6th gold now for India. It was early this morning that we got this dramatic live beamed on social media by Punjab Congress MLA Khera, and he claimed that he was being arrested. Soon turned out to be true, arrested in an 8-year-old drugs case. The AAP claims it's a crackdown on the drug mafia in Punjab. But the Congress is saying all of this is political vendetta. It's politically motivated. Why Khera? Why is he being targeted? Well, the Congress is saying AAP is doing this because of a post he put up questioning the Raghav Chadda Pariniti Chopra wedding splurge. Details in our report first.
Dramatic scenes in Chandigarh. A team of Punjab police swooped down on Congress MLA Sukhpal Singh Khera's bungalow in Chandigarh on Thursday morning. The police arrested Khera in a 2015 drug case. Khera termed the arrest politically motivated and alleged he is in danger.
एक तरफ केजरीवाल और भगवंत मान इंडिया अलायंस के अंदर घुसने के लिए हमारी दिल्ली की लीडरशिप के ऊपर बहुत दबाव डालते हैं, और यहाँ पंजाब में कांग्रेस को मार्जिनलाइज करने के लिए, आवाज बंद करने के लिए ऐसी गंदी हरकत की है आज. I will not be surprised if he gets me physically eliminated also.
The Congress has backed Khera. State Party Chief Amarinder Raja Waring accused the AAP government of using investigation agencies for political gains.
ये जंगल राज है पंजाब पुलिस बिल्कुल मर्यादा तो गिर चुकी है NIA CBI ED तमाम होर एजेंसीज इन्होंने तो पंजाब दे विच एक टैरर फैलाता हर घरे एक टैरर है कि मेरे सुबह उठदे NIA ना आ जाए मेरे सुबह उठदे CBI ना आ जाए।
अगर सुखपाल खेरा इतने दूध के दोहे हुए थे तो अकाली दल ने उनके ऊपर मुकदमा क्यों दर्ज किया? कांग्रेस सरकार ने उनको गिरफ्तार क्यों किया?
Other opposition parties, the Akali Dal and BJP, also came down heavily on the Bhagwant Maan government.
कोई आदमी अक्यूज्ड है उसको पुलिस सम्मन करे इन्वेस्टिगेशन ज्वाइन कराए वो जवाब नहीं देता उसको अरेस्ट करे। पंजाब के लिए एक दोबारा से काले दौर की शुरुआत है जो रोज अपोजिशन के लीडर्स के ऊपर इस तरह की कार्रवाई की जा रही है केवल इसलिए क्योंकि वो सरकार के खिलाफ बोलते हैं।
The arrest of a Congress MLA in a state ruled by AAP has rocked the opposition vote. The Punjab Congress is vehemently opposed to any truck with AAP, a member of the India Alliance, in the 2024 national elections. Bureau Report, India Today.
And news coming in of the Congress now upping the ante against the Aam Aadmi Party, against the Bhagwant Maan government. They're meeting with the governor as we speak, filing an official complaint over MLA Khera's arrest. The Congress has also confirmed that they're going to fight this out legally, citing how, in fact, the Supreme Court had stalled any action against Khera in this particular case. Kamaljit Sandhu is joining us with more details on this. Kamaljit, the Congress delegation now meeting with the governor. We're told post this, they're also going to seek legal reprieve. So they're not giving up on this fight against the AAP.
Well, despite the claims of India Alliance, it seems to be in tatters, at least in Punjab, where the Aam Aadmi Party is in a collision course with the Congress. And several of the leaders have already been arrested. In fact, as a matter of fact, there are at least 10 members of the delegation led by Pratap Singh Bajwa, who's the leader of opposition of the Congress Party right here in Punjab. Yes, they are going to submit the memorandum. The meeting has already begun at 6 o'clock. And remember, there are two things. One, the entire move has put the opposition together, be it BJP or Shrimani Akali Dal. Remember, they are not part of the India Alliance. So the equation is very, very different in Punjab. But meanwhile, what has happened is that there is a lot of blame game, especially the Aam Aadmi Party saying, oh, we are following rules and regulations, we are going by the rule book, we are keen to get to the point where this is a drug-free state. On the other hand, the Congress Party is saying this is vendetta politics, that Sukhpail Khera had been actually raising some pertinent issues, and this is where they seem to be at the crosshairs. And clearly, where these two parties do not seem to get along together, the macro question is what happens to the India Alliance, especially in Punjab where the seat sharing cannot be decided. There's also been a talk about the BJP Akali Dal, which has not happened. But meanwhile, it seems the Aam Aadmi Party as well as the Congress are gunning after each other, and this time all guns blazing, and the entire move has now got a support of the opposition parties from all different hues, from all different ideologies, backing Sukhpail Khera. Remember, another of the leaders, a former Congress leader, now in BJP, Manpreet Badal, against which lookout notice and arrest warrant has been issued. So some likely move on that case will also eventually happen. But meanwhile, there's a war of words, a lot of tu-tu-me-me between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress. And they have already upped the ante by one, going to the governor, Banwari Lal Purohit. Second, they said they will move the court and also seek bail and seek justice in the entire matter.
All right, what does this mean for the India Alliance? It's a big, big question right now. But thanks, Kamaljit, for getting us that update. We'll keep coming across to you. A Congress delegation right now looking to meet with the governor, file an official complaint, a memorandum where they will seek action against the Bhagwant Maan government because they maintain that all of this is politically motivated. Now, remember, leading that delegation is the leader of opposition Congress MLA, Mr. Pratap Singh Bajwa, who's standing by to meet with the governor, but he's joining us live at this point with his view on what's playing out. Thank you, Mr. Bajwa, for taking the time out and joining us here on India Today. Of all the defense that's come in, sir, from the Congress, very often it is that, you know, this is a drug case, an 8-year-old drug case that's being raked up, sir. a drug case is a drug case, whether it's 8 years old, 5 years or 10 years ago. There are still alleged case right now against Mr. Khera.
Ma'am, firstly, if it is a drug case and if Mr. Khera was involved in this drug case, I want to firstly ask Arvind Kejriwal and then Bhagwant Mann, why did they then give their AAP ticket to Sukhpal Khera in 2017? If they strongly believed Mr. Khera was a drug peddler or was a drug warlord, then why did Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann give him a ticket for 2017 assemblies? And then subsequently, ma'am, in 2020, they made Sukhpal Khera the leader of the opposition of the AAP in the Punjab Assembly. And then I have a, if you want, I have a 5-year-old video.
Yeah.
Of Bhagwant Mann.
Yeah, can you play
If you want to hear him, I can put it on.
Yes, please. Please do, Mr. Bajwa.
Where he says, you want to see this video? I can show you this, right?
उन्होंने कहा कि इस केस ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਕਲ ਵੈਂਡੇਟਾ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਸਿਆਸੀ ਬਦਲਾਖੋਰੀ ਦੀ ਹੱਦ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਰਵਿੰਦ ਕੇਜਰੀਵਾਲ ਆਏ ਥੇ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਲਈ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੁੱਖ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਹਰਿਆਣਾ
Can you hear it?
Okay, sir. We heard it.
So, it's done. This man himself, when he was the state unit president, says it is political vendetta. I have gone through the FIR, there's nothing against Mr. Khera. And he also says in a couple of weeks from now, Khera will get a clean check from the courts. And today, 8 years later, now the AAP government conveniently finds him to be a drug warlord.
Okay, but Mr. Bajwa, then why now? You're saying all of this is politically motivated. Why have they targeted Mr. Khera now?
Because every single day, it is Mr. Sukhpal Singh Khera along with a couple of our senior leaders who are unearthing cases of corruption, cases of maladministration against Bhagwant and his colleagues. They want to now silence the voice of the Congress. And today is the birth anniversary of Shahid-e-Azam Bhagat Singh. This party which says we believe in the ideology of Bhagat Singh, today morning they have done an act which is completely against the ideology of Shahid-e-Azam Bhagat Singh.
But let me, sir, put forth what the AAP's version is on this. They're saying that Khera, despite facing this kind of a charge, has been protected, has been shielded by previous governments, and they're cracking down on the drug mafia.
No, madam, then why? No, you firstly ask them. Last time, firstly you give a ticket, then you make him a LOP, leader of the opposition. Today, because he becomes inconvenient for you, today he being in the AAP knows your inside and outside. Every single day, all your acts of omission and commission are being unearthed in Punjab every single day. What your chief minister is up to, what his ministers are up to, what your MLAs are up to. Is the most misgoverned state in the whole of the country.
No, but there are very serious allegations. These are serious allegations. Do you agree? These are serious allegations.
Madam, no, madam, you are totally misled. You are totally misled. It is the Honorable Supreme Court, a 5-member court over there, which has already given him a major reprieve. Have the courts put him under trial? How can you say there are serious charges?
No, I'll explain, sir.
He has never been tried in a court in the last 8 years. The Honorable Supreme Court has given him a reprieve from there. And madam, you are being misled. I am extremely sorry to say. You are one of the better channels of the country.
No,
without
sir.
going into the history of any person, you say they are very serious charges.
I'll tell you why I've said it. Yes, you're right. You're right. The Supreme Court Yes, sir, the Supreme Court has granted relief. But also in 2015, the FIR was filed. His aides have also been taken into custody, sir.
Madam, he has not. Madam, excuse me. Madam, excuse me. Please, talk to me on political grounds. I am not an advocate of Mr. Khera. Neither I have a legal background. So let us talk political. The political thing is, things have started going wrong for the Aap Aadmi Party. They have now started targeting all opposition parties, not only the Congress. But Congress is daily going against them hammers and tongs. We are holding dharnas, we are holding protests throughout the state.
Okay.
And every single protest is going from strength to strength. The leadership of the AAP is feeling jittery today. It is on weak wicket. That's why they are trying basically to control. They want to basically suppress the voice of opposition against them. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. And if you want to go for a legal reference, speak to Mr. Khera's lawyers. They'll be able to brief you better regarding this. I am basically talking about this AAP leadership.
Sure.
The day people are like Sundar Jain and that Manish Sisodia, once they are with them, if they are a part of their party, they call somebody Bhagat Singh, they call somebody Mahatma Gandhi, and they call everybody else corrupt. They feel they are the only sacred ones born in this country.
Mr. Bajwa,
Others are...
Yeah, Mr. Bajwa, you're saying, okay, let's stick to the political facts of this. What's the point of an alliance, sir, if you and the Aam Aadmi Party are fighting it out in this manner? What's the point of an India alliance?
Madam, that is a different viewpoint. Here, there are two parties. Basically, it is either the AAP or opposition, the Congress is there. Neither the BJP. BJP is totally insignificant in Punjab.
Sure.
It's a similar case like Kerala, where Congress and the CPM are two major parties fighting each other. Here, AAP feels ground is slipping from under their feet and people are going back to the Congress. They want to stop this slide.
But there are disagreements.
It's just, it's politically, totally, you could say that the whole truth is that they are sliding, they are losing ground, and that ground is being covered daily on a daily basis by the Congress and its volunteers. It is basically the Congress vote bank. See, in 2017, ma'am, we got 42% votes. The AAP got 22. Now we have 24 and they got 42.
Sure.
They exactly know the secular and the national vote. Once AAP loses ground, it is going to go back to the Congress. This is a desperate attempt to stop that. The whole story is this, nothing more than this.
Okay, I remember, Mr. Bajwa, that during the Delhi ordinance fight that had broken out, the Delhi Congress and you, Mr. Bajwa, Punjab Congress as a unit, also advised the central leadership against an alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party. Do you believe that the central leadership should have listened to you, should have agreed with your view that this alliance isn't conducive?
No. I have complete, you could say, confidence in my party high command. Basically, the secular people in India, they want to somehow control the march of Narendra Modi. They could do whatever they want to do. Party can take a decision in the interest of the country.